Okay, I think I'll start now. Whoever comes in, comes in. Let me start up here by thanking everybody. I know it was extremely short notice. It was done on a personal reason because I just felt compelled, as I put out on the press release, again on the short notice, that I wanted to straighten up some things that are either being misrepresented, misunderstood, and for whatever reason. And I think I will take some of that blame. But having said that, I thought it was necessary. So let me start off with a couple of things, and I'm going to make it relatively short and sweet. This is not a normal. Even the conference calls we do monthly are not normal. But I want to just address what I think of the points that are crucial. So let's start off, and not necessarily in the right order, so it's kind of random. Let's start off with the Finra and the OTC. And I think I repeated this on my last conference call, but I'll do it quickly. When I filed in April, I put up all the filings in regards to the name, all the changes, the symbol, the changes, and such on the OTC. That was the end of April. For approximately 2 to 3 months, I was fighting back and forth with FINRA on simply a corporate action, which was a name change and a symbol change. And as I said on the last call, I finally called FINRA and said, listen, what if I just simply retracted the corporate action? What would happen? And FINRA said nothing. So therefore, that's what happened. That's only a week ago. I was requested to send in a corporate retraction. I did all of that. They sent me an email confirming it. I sent it to OTC. OTC therefore gave us access to the OTC IQ. That happened. I did that last Thursday afternoon, so really Friday, that I'd uploaded some further information. Address, the new president, David Postula, the new law firm, the new auditing firm, all of the above. That went on, including the 60 billion shares reduction, which I did do through the state of Wyoming quite a while ago. But yet the transfer agent, well, let me back up. So that's where the 60 billion shares were to 200 billion to the 60 billion, sorry, were done, let's say approximately 2 months ago, month and a half ago, not exactly on the right dates. I had, so again, as I said on last Friday, we got to all the stuff that I'd uploaded. Well, during the one day, and I think it was Friday, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was pretty sure it was Friday, it showed 60 billion, actually, sorry, yesterday, Monday, it showed 260 billion shares all day. Then all of a sudden, yesterday afternoon, it went to the 200 billion. Whether people said that I was lying, whether people said I didn't know what I was doing, that's not correct. I put up the 60 billion and I backed it up with all the documentation. So therefore, I contacted OTC this morning, and then I got an email back. It was because the transfer agent because they're linked to the transfer agent, still was showing the 200 billion shares. I sent the appropriate documentation again for the third time to the transfer agent at Old Monmouth, and finally they got it right. So I've got an email back that they have now corrected within the transfer agent to the 60 billion shares. How long it takes for the link between OTCQI and the transfer agent, I don't know. It could be this evening, it could be tomorrow, but it is 60 billion shares. I'm done with that subject. Next subject, and I put it in the press release, and this is predominantly why I asked for the conference call. So, and just hear me out. I am a transparent person. I don't need to make up any stories because of what the businesses that we have. I have been extremely open to all the shareholders. I take as many calls as I do. I've talked to other CEOs. They just don't do that. And I'm not saying I'm anything special, but I've taken every call I possibly could. Somehow, and probably because of me, I've given out my mobile number to certain people. I can't even remember who, to be really honest with you. So not only am I getting phone calls every day at the office, and it was averaging now 30 to 50 phone calls a day. And if they couldn't get a hold of me, they would get through to Tanya, my assistant. And then on top of that, my cell number got circulated wherever it got circulated, but it was in anywhere from 15 to 50 calls on my cell phone, right through till Saturday at 11 o'clock at night, right through till coming into the office at 5:30 in the morning, which I do. I took a call at 5:45 while I'm pulling up in my car, and they didn't think anything of it. I told them, by the way, you're calling me at 5:45. It didn't mean anything. And then on a Sunday afternoon, I'm going to the movie theaters with my wife and 2 children. I've got 3 phone calls within an hour at the movie theaters. So anyway, I won't ramble on, but I don't mind being transparent and taking the phone calls, but it's too much. And obviously 70% of the phone calls are about the same subject. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. And I really don't want to be disrespectful to anybody because I like taking the phone calls. So I'm somewhat guilty of my own doing because, I'm very passionate about our company. So my phone call doesn't end up in 30 seconds. Sometimes I go 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So if I could ask for respect, then I'm open to it. If not, I'm just simply going to shut off the phone calls. I'm going to shut off my cell phone, and you can email info@hpilholding.com. If I make that decision, I'm not making it right now, I'm just asking for respect. And I know there's a lot of groups, so if somebody of one group can, handle that. And I know they've had phone calls with people that there's 2, 3, 4, 500 people in a group, then that would be great because it's affecting my work. And I'm a workaholic, but it's affecting my work. So enough said about that. That's one of the big reasons. And I'm just, we got great shareholders. And then we got some people that are, maybe not that savvy. Whoever that is, if they can turn it off. Okay. So, maybe not so savvy, and it's their first or second time in the public market, and they're, naturally inquisitive, and, maybe they don't understand some of the things I said. Somebody coming here on this crazy noise. Anyway. So, let's jump to a couple things. One is the NFTs. So through all of the things that I've been discussing, I brought on the new law firm. Here's what I'm doing. And I'm only allowed to say so much, but there will be an announcement coming out in the next few days. I will be moving over the NFT in a transaction that benefits all shareholders. So obviously, based upon the amount of shares that you have in there, we are moving a transaction, I'm guarding my words here, that involves a movement of NFT procurement into another public company, and that will benefit based upon the shareholder's position. That is literally over the next few days. So we are hoping to get the NFT, which we're actually extending it in regards to the amount of NFTs at one time. I'm doing everything for it to happen by Tuesday next week. This is not a stall tactic. This is simple business that has happened. And that's how I am. I'm outgoing, I'm aggressive, and this is a benefit to, from a shareholder point of view, I believe, and everybody can make that judgment call when it happens. I'm hoping to get something out by the end of this week in regards to a specific announcement. In regards to the shareholder buyback, and I had this conversation with many of you. So let me repeat it again. This was not a private placement. This is not a corporate buyback. This is not a Stephen Brown buyback. I have a handful of investment people. Some of them are shareholders already within this company that are open to buying shares directly, not involving the company, directly to shareholders that want to do exactly that. And I may have mentioned it this way, but if not, I'll say it again. It's like somebody sitting across the desk from me and somebody says, hey, Stephen, I want to sell my shares. And my friend Bill is sitting next to me. He says, I'll buy them. And it's done on a direct transaction. So the plan for the buyback, which I'd still like to do because there are shareholders and other investment individuals that want to buy shares, then it would be let me explain it. You would then, as I put in, August the 17th, which is today, till September the 17th, there was an agreed upon price that these private investors, again, not through the company, were willing to pay. If you put in your email that you were willing to sell at that price, that would be, I would put you in direct contact with their legal counsel, and you would sell your shares directly to them. It doesn't involve me, doesn't involve the company, but it's a direct sale. It's that simple. And it was always that. If I wanted to do a private placement, whether it's a company buyback, I would go and raise the money, I would do a private placement, and we do it that way. That's not the case. So I would like to carry on. I think I'm trying to think here, because everything becomes very convoluted and misunderstanding as I put in the press release. So the premise would be to put that out. I think I would put it out tomorrow, or let's say give me 48 hours at most. And that's the way that the buyback would happen. I am simply connecting two parties directly with their legal counsel, your legal counsel, or you individually, and that's the transaction that you make. I mean, I don't want to make this one of the monthly calls. All of the other things happening, the Apogee is coming along exceptionally well. The NDA that we've signed with the company that everybody's aware of is coming along exceptionally well. We have brought in programmers and definitely and on top of that, one senior programmer to build the TikTok of gamers, which is our Zippa. That's in development and building as we speak. I'm pushing it as aggressively as I can because we feel very strongly about Zippa. So much so that this company, we have taken an extra 3,000 square feet that became available from a mining company closing ironically on our floor in downtown Vancouver. We have taken their 3,000 square feet extra space across the hallway as we are expanding aggressively. So that's happened. I think I'm kind of done with that. I think I'm just done. I really wanted to get off my chest to do with just give me the time to work. And I will do the best I can to be take the phone calls, but if it continues the way that it is, I'm going to have to shut it off, and then you'll get your news from the announcements, and that's not what I want to do. So I open up to everybody on the call, and please be just appreciative of everybody else. So one at a time.
Hey, so I had a question.
Hi, Devin. Okay.
Hey, yes, my question is, if an investor will buy our shares, what's preventing them just from buying shares just like we do on the regular market? And when they buy these shares, would they be canceled to reduce the outstanding shares?
So, first and foremost, you would sell your shares, and no, they wouldn't be canceled. But then I would be talking to those shareholders who are acquiring on a transaction that would retire shares, as I've said that before. That's a secondary transaction that I can't discuss because that's not in play right now. But my whole plan behind this is to reduce shares.
All right.
Excuse me, Stephen. I have a question to follow up on that one, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can, Stephen.
Yeah. So I was first of all, thanks for everything you do. But I was just wondering if there's like a price target that you're looking for, because obviously if they buy these shares at, let's say, like, a penny and a half, and then you cancel them out by signing some sort of agreement with them, what would be kind of the price target that you would issue them shares again? So that way we can kind of have an idea of what.
Okay, that's a fair question that I can't give the complete answer. So first and foremost, let's say for argument's sake, the share or the stock, I think, closed at a penny, whatever, a little over today. So let's say that their price that and this is hypothetical, but let's say they put it out at a penny. I guess let's use that number. And then if you agreed on, let's say on August the 19th to do that, then you're stuck at that price in a transaction with those buyers. And then all of a sudden it goes to 3 pennies. You can't, then you're done. You've sold it to them at a penny. In regards to your question, the transaction after the fact, that's a business transaction that I would be putting out as an announcement of what deal I would make with them. So it would definitely be something to the fact, I should say, that it would be more of a long term. So the float would at least would be reduced in the interim. And then when I say the interim, I mean 6 months to a year.
Mr. Brown, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Aishan.
Thank you. So I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to do with respect to a private investor or a group of investors coming and taking over, buying shares from existing shareholders, and then subsequently going through the process of agreeing with them to retire the shares. I mean, why go through that process instead of actually doing the retirement straight away? I mean, if
Listen. I agree. I know what you're saying. This is just a concept that I'd come up with, and I've discussed with quite a few people that want to put up the money. Sure, I could reverse the stock. I said from the beginning I was not going to do that. I could reverse the stock 5-to-1 and probably accomplish or better the same thing. I'm trying to take the shareholders into consideration because I know most companies like this with this amount of outstanding shares, they'd be reversing this in 1 minute. 25-to-1, 10-to-1, whatever the number is. So it was just another method that I was trying to come up with, A, to keep shareholders' confidence, and B, if people are in at a certain price and they can sell at a certain price, at least it would be somewhat fixed.
And the reason why I asked that question, Mr. Brown, is by doing what we are doing, because the company is not involved in the initial process, the press release cannot even come from a company. I mean, we're not paid.
Say that again. The company could what?
Because of what you're trying to achieve, wherein private investors are coming through, it's like a regular share purchase from the market. How would the company issue a press release indicating that they are facilitating a transaction?
Well, it's all down to the wording. We're not issuing the transaction. This is not a transaction through the company. This is an introduction only. Somebody must be walking or something because I cannot hear anybody.
Hey, Steven, it's Steven again. I just have another question about something you said earlier. So in the event that we do transfer the NFT procurement to another company, can you give us any idea as to how you plan to, is this some sort of dividend of thing? Or?
There will be a dividend.
Okay, thank you.
In that company that acquires, you would have a dividend. I don't know what the ratio is. That's what we're discussing now. I hope to put that announcement out in the next few days, so I can't discuss too much, but it would be a dividend where everybody would benefit.
Steven.
This is Mike.
Mr. Brown, can you hear me? I just want to suggest you can turn off Oche's mic by hovering over his name and either removing him from the room or permanently.
Okay, well, I'm looking at 775 participants. So who are you talking about?
OCHE.
Well, if OCHE can hear, maybe he could mute, but I'm not seeing him right now, and I'm going through.
The other option you can do is you hover over participants and mute us all, and then it will remute us all, and then everyone who wants to talk can unmute from there again.
Yeah, tiene tres pastillas.
Okay, I've muted everybody, and okay, so I guess if anybody wants to wave, I'm not sure.
It works. We can unmute.
My hand up here.
Okay, go ahead.
Steven,
Awesome.
Yes.
did somebody else start before me? I don't want to interrupt.
It was just me. I got a couple.
Okay, go ahead.
It's Mark.
Okay.
There, Steven. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
So is Stargaze who you're going to probably putting the NFT in, or do you have some other shells, or is it a totally off the radar company that's going to be merging into this?
You know I can't answer that question.
I was just curious.
You probably know the answer, but I can't answer.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
All right, Stephen, this is Reginald Curry, if I may.
Hi, Reginald.
Hey, first of all, thank you for all the hard work that you're doing, man. I know it can be overwhelming with so many shareholders and concerns.
Overwhelming. I almost got divorced on Sunday.
Oh, geez.
Carry on. I'm joking. Carry on.
Family first. My question is about the status on the OTC. Do you have any information as to why we still have the stop sign on there?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. That's one of the, absolutely I do. Yes. So, as some people have been posting that there's no way that the HPIL can become current. That's simply not true. If I'd have carried on under Cybernetic, that was true until I found out. That was because I could not get the audit, any financial documents or statements from 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And you know what happened? I was able to contact Finra and continue with HPIL, and that way keep all of our divisions and all the stuff you know about. So the thing with OTC, so I have filed everything in April, which you now, if you go to the OTC markets, other than the mess up with the transfer agent and the 200 billion shares, which is now being corrected, it's all updated. What the OTC requires to be current is 2 years of financials. Well, this company for 1 year and 10 months was under administration with Angela Collette through the court, through the judge's order of the court. And then I took it over, and then approximately 5-6 months, 5.5 months, whatever it is, the financials, I have them in-house, and they were all where I put in money. So we are right now about 80% finished with our financials on those 2 years, which then will bring us completely current, and the stop sign comes off. That's it.
Beautiful, thank you.
And if you look at a press release, either the last one or the one before, I brought in a top law firm out of New York, and I brought in a top auditing firm, and that's what we're doing. So we absolutely will be compliant, current, stop sign removed very, very shortly, and only because of the 2 years financials, which were quite easy, again, because as I said, 1 year and 10 months was nothing, and then the past 5-6 months was our financials here at the business, at the office.
Hi, Stephen. Oops.
Thank you.
I just want to follow up on that last question. So the 30 days for the QB, we have to be listed as current for that to begin? Do you know?
Say that again.
So to get on the QB, to be over a penny for 30 days, does that 30 days start after we are showing current?
Yes, it does, unfortunately. But my main thing right now is that we don't fall under the September 26th or whatever that date is,
right?
Which we will be way, way ahead of that. That's my first and foremost. I'm ready. I'm ready for the QB, and I will have the audit, obviously, and that'll be hopefully much easier because there won't be a clock ticking. But I will be very aggressive on that. But first and foremost is getting the stop sign taken.
Yeah, I've just heard a lot of chatter about it. Don't want you to get any questions.
Only chatter. It's only chatter.
Yeah.
So I had another question.
My dad used to tell me that talk is cheap.
I had a question as well, another question. Just so that it may not come as a surprise if it does happen, how confident that the Zippa will launch on the 1st of September, or do you feel like that may be pushed back?
That's a loaded question. I don't have an answer to that. My answer is simply this. I brought in some top programmers since I spoke to all you guys. And bringing in top programmers is not cheap. And that's what I've done. We are building Zippa, the TikTok for gamers, as we speak. And we're doing everything to meet the September 1st date. I will keep everybody updated. I will hopefully have some testing going on where you can check it out. But my answer is we're doing everything that we can for the September date, and we brought in all the team that's necessary to do that.
All right. Thanks.
Stephen, I have a quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
So regarding the NFTs, we were told that the auction was going to be held prior. That date was pushed back. Then we were told it was going to be held today.
Correct.
We visited the site. There's no link. There's no auction that I was aware of. What's your response to why the auction was postponed?
I just explained what's going on, and that is the contract that has been signed in regards to the NFT being moved, and there's a time frame locked in regards to that. I'm trying to get everything done by this Friday, so it's only a matter of days. But as I said, that's what's happening. Documentation has occurred in regards to that NFT being moved.
Excuse me. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Who is that going to benefit? The shareholders of the HPIL or the company that you're going to move the NFTs to?
This is what happens. I've just answered that question. The only way it would be moved is for dividends to be paid to HPIL shareholders.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's great. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Steven, Mike
Yes.
H. A comment as far as the buyback, there's a process where the company can actually do the buyback instead of going through the third parties. You could announce a buyback, do an 8K through the SEC, and you could announce, whatever the number is, 8 billion, 7 billion, whatever your intended buyback is, and on the open market, buy up to 25% a day yourself, on the market.
Yeah, I'm completely aware of that. And the people, and there's 5 people, the people that wanted to acquire these shares wanted to be basically left anonymous, and they wanted a direct transaction, and they wanted me to facilitate it. That's what I was about to announce. And I've just been annihilated with that. And then ironically, through this thing with what's going on with the NFTs, I thought I would do an emergency conference call. And some people will see this as a stall. If anybody knows me by now, it's absolutely not. It's the opposite. That's what's going on. Yes, I could have done it that way. I agree with you. But that was if the company, meaning HPIL, were wanting to get involved in that. And that was not. I was simply being a facilitator. And I believe that will still continue, hopefully, the next couple of days.
Mr. Brown, this is Ishant again. Just went on to OTC. The 60 billion has been updated as we speak.
Okay, well, there you go. Okay, and that was, let me tell you why. That all happened this morning, because again, I got annihilated. Maybe I shouldn't be paying attention to some of the chat rooms, but I do, as you well know. And so I annihilated the transfer agent who did not. I'm going to make it really simple. I sent them the documents. They open it up, and he didn't take the time to scroll down with the attachments, and therefore kept it at 200 billion. Until I made those phone calls to both the OTC and the transfer agent, that's what happened. It happened this morning at probably 7 o'clock in the morning, my time. And thank you. I haven't checked, but you just told me it's now updated.
Stephen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Are you still imminently going to announce the partners in the Apogee 7?
Absolutely. Everybody knows I have an NDA signed. That is in an exceptional position. That's the best I can say. In regards to the 7 partners, absolutely yes, because that's a part of the vehicle. I think we're probably around 30 to 60 days from those 7 being announced.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, Stephen, do you see any reason why we would not be able to uplist to NASDAQ?
No.
Because
hold on. You mean NASDAQ OTCQB or NASDAQ?
To NASDAQ. After QB.
I mean, I said from the beginning, I have one goal, and that is NASDAQ. But it's not this year. It's next year.
Because, I was reading something about missing
Stephen.
finance. So that might be a reason for that. So, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
How's your son feeling? Is he doing better? I think that's the most important question.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. I go home every night and I tell him what's going on. He's a 20-year-old and he's a gamer. But I've basically dragged him in by the ears to get involved in the gaming, and that's what he's doing. So you'll be seeing not only him, but some, well, you have to be a gamer, but some very, very recognizable gamers coming on board with him. And you'll be seeing that over the next couple of weeks. We're extremely excited what's happening with that. And we've already getting.
As far as the hospital, I know you had a hospital.
No, he's been out of hospital. He was in there for 2 days.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Steven, I have another quick question here. And you know, I'm just asking because I'd like some clarity, just for some reassurance. As far as Crank Media goes, I noticed that it's delinquent in its filings, and I believe the president was David Patsula over there. So I'm wondering if you can give some reassurance as to if that company has been around for a couple of years and it's delinquent on filings. How do we have the confidence that this company is going to get up to date?
Sure. So first and foremost, I only took over a TSOP approximately 8-9 months ago, and I had to go through the same process that I just went through here. If you look at it, the most important thing we did get done is I got the 10K done for 2020, so that fully compliant and audit was filed. I'm just going to be pretty blunt. We had a lawyer and an accounting firm that were just a total waste of time. And it took everything for me to get rid of them, which I have now done. And the law firm that I brought on HPIL are also handling Crank Media. We are extremely close to getting the first Q filed on Crank Media, which again has nothing to do with HPIL. That is imminent. Matter of fact, the Q is finished. We're just having an auditor review it, which you have to do now, even though it's not a full-blown audit. So that is taking place as we speak.
Okay, thank you for answering that.
And let me even extend on that. You know, I've had to overcome a lot of hurdles, and I've taken a lot of pot shots. But, you know, our business, even in my Crank Media, we have a legitimate, I don't know why I'm talking about it, but we have a legitimate music company. We have 3 artists in the top 40. We have legitimate television and film. That's my background. It's not for the faint at heart in this, especially on the OTC. But I show up for work, I do what I can, and that's what I'm doing. And ultimately, I win. So you either have patience with me, and sometimes you might get pissed off at me, but I can tell you one thing, I'm doing what you want me to do. And Crank Media, that's my answer. You don't always get the right people involved, and it's taken a little bit of a while, even with Crank Media, to assemble the right team that's around, and that's what I've done. In regards to David Postula, yes, I moved him from Crank Media when I took on HPIL because he fits that much more. He works very, very well hand in hand with LT. They speak 2-3 times a day, you know, at length. And David Postula is the big part of the reason why why the NDA was signed with Ansys, due to his past relationships. So, you know, it's all my decisions. It's the movement that I make based upon what's put in front of me, and you like it or you don't. You know.
Hey, Mr. Brown.
And again, this conference call I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. You know, if I'm answering 50 phone calls a day, which sometimes I do, and it's my own demise, then I can't do all the work. So I'm going to let it go. But please, if you're in groups, just make it, you know, one person call once a week. I'm willing to take the phone calls.
Stephen, is there anything you can share regarding the electric motorcycle at this point?
So the answer is, it's something very close to me in regards to a relationship that I have. And if anybody has done any background checks on that motorcycle, you'll understand what happened with Michael Sis. And he passed away with cancer 4 or 5 years. And
are they thinking they're going to have somebody there tonight to cut that?
Yes.
We are very close.
I assume you're going to where the existing one sink was.
All right, we are very close to everything coming to fruition with that in an extremely positive manner. That's close to, and it's something that I think is going to really go
Mr. Brown, can you mute everybody again?
Irons or nothing, it'll just be put a santee in it and dump it in there.
Okay.
Okay, sorry guys, sorry.
I have a question, Mr. Brown.
Yes.
On the OTC.
Why do you get asked first?
Can we finish, Mr. Brown, your thought on the motorcycle?
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it's an extremely positive thing that's happening with that, and I think everybody's going to be pretty surprised with that over the next 10 days to 2 weeks. We are participating. Formula One is in Vancouver next year. The Formula One E electric racing. We are trying to get the cycle even involved in that. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. And that's all I can share with you. The motorcycle, it's close. It's close to me, and it's close to happening. But until it happens, it doesn't happen. I can't guarantee it, but it's at a pretty good, extremely positive point.
Okay, so my question is, on the OTC website, David Postula is listed as a company insider. Does that mean that he owns shares?
That was an incorrect, and if you look at it now, it should be down.
I
If it's
just
not, it
saw
will
it.
be. Okay,
Still
it's
there.
not. That was an error.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, I have a question. What's the outstanding shares target?
As I've discussed before, I don't necessarily have a target. I'm just trying to get the least amount as possible, which was all the convertible notes. I mean, I think I'd use this number, and don't hold me to it, but I think we're hovering around the 15 billion, and every single share has been converted, and in many cases. So let me share one thing. This company came along with a lot of baggage that I was not told about. And one of the main one is all the convertible notes. I don't want to go into this too much because it does not involve HPIL. But if you pull up GPL Ventures, which were one of the largest convertible note groups in this company, they were just charged by the Securities Exchange Commission for stock manipulation. Now, it mentioned two other companies, did not mention HPIL. What it involved was a investor relations scheme, which never happened, and I would never allow it to happen. And by the way, they never asked me. It's where they would convert the notes on these poor companies, and then they'd bring in an investor relations firm, and they'd pump it up, and they'd make, I think the number they used in the Securities Exchange charge was $81 million. This is GPL. They were one of the largest note converters in this company, meaning HPIL. And I think I said this, I'm pretty sure, based upon what I'm seeing on the Nobu, that 70 to 80% of the notes have been converted and sold through, meaning in the hands of other people other than those people. But that was again our biggest that I have to overcome, that I had I couldn't do anything about it.
Do you see another?
It's not. I'm pretty sure it's not over 15 billion. They're going to do everything to reduce it.
Do you see another share buyback happening?
I do. Yes, I just explained to you why I held it up, is because all the confusion. So yes, I do, absolutely, or at least the offering of one.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown, I have a question.
I'd like to close this at 2:50, so in 10 minutes, if you don't mind. It wasn't planned for this long. I had a reason for it, but another 10 minutes.
Hello. I'm a gamer, and I've tried my nuts, and they're amazing. Have you tried my nuts? I think you should. MyNuts.com. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Brown, this is Michael Moore. I just want to say that, you have a majority of shareholders here that really appreciate what you do, and your transparency, I know you've said, has kind of come back to bite you a little bit here and there, but we really appreciate what you're doing. And, we're really passionate because we have a lot of money behind what you say that you're building, and it's gotten us really excited. And the stuff that you've said about this crazy car that doesn't need to be charged in, and we're like, going nuts. And I think we're just really passionate, most of us, and I think most of us are behind you. And so we appreciate what you do.
First of all, thank you. And ironically, approximately 2 hours ago, LT was in my office. and we had some pretty intense discussions because I'm taking the front heat for that, and I feel extremely good on what we're doing. We also discussed Medusa, which you're going to be hearing a lot about in the pretty near future, actually. And I'm feeling extremely comfortable with what we're doing in regards to the Apogee and also in regards to Medusa. And by the way, that was my one reason and thought that I'm hoping to be able to do over the next very short period of time, was the reason regarding the potential move. And it was not to escape anything with not putting them out or anything like that. It was the NFT doesn't quite fit in the Cybernetic, in the HPIL technology. I'm so used to Cybernetic, a business platform, and it will fit into an entertainment platform. And this happened to come to me regarding this other possibility, and I think it would benefit all, especially the shareholders. But again, I will let you guys make that decision when I announce it, and I'm expecting that to be over the next week.
In regards to the buyback, Mr. Brown, is there a target price these private investors are looking to target, or is the only way we'll find out about the price if we reach out to you independently? And then a follow-up question on that would be, if these private investors don't get enough interest from shareholders reaching out, will they then go buy on the public market?
I can't answer that. Well, I can answer that question, part of it. So the planned deal, until it became awry, but that's why I took this conference call to get it back on, was just based upon what the price was at. And I think they were I believe that they were potentially looking at coming in just a tiny bit under, but maybe not. So let's use the number that it was a penny. And then everybody had 30 days to take advantage of it or not. And I must be honest with you, I was expecting not many people taking advantage of it based on what I think this company will do, but that's up to everybody. So yeah, that's my answer.
Quick question.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to wrap my head around the buyback, and I'm sorry I'm going back to the same question all over again. If it was a private investor, what was the need of actually putting out like a tweet? Because that could have potentially increased the price for the private investor to come and scoop up the shares. What was the reasoning behind the company tweeting about it? Consequently, the price going up and then the private investors picking up at a higher tap. If the intention of the private investor is to acquire a large chunk, was it not in their interest that they actually did not announce it through the company and pick up from the market?
Well, that should show you exactly what you're saying. That should show you that I'm not in with that private investor. This was a group of guys that came to me and said, we would be interested in talking to your shareholders, see if anybody's interested in selling. So if I was a part of that, then wouldn't I want it to be a lower price? The opposite? I'm not a part of that. I was simply a facilitator, to be bluntly honest with you. Maybe it backfired a little bit on it because it doesn't benefit the company. I was trying to show to the shareholders that there are people out there that have value in this company, and I was approached, and then I facilitated. And I after this conference call tomorrow morning, we'll be on the phone with certain groups that were wanting to facilitate that and see if that's still the case, which I believe it will be.
Didn't you say in the last conference call?
I hope the shares go up to 2 and 3 cents, and everybody whoever wants to make money can make money. It doesn't change my direction. Doesn't change. We don't benefit from that.
I thought you said you would decide on the 16th when on market close. You said the only one that knew what the offering would be you. You said I would just pick that number, and then on the 17th you would disclose that.
That's not correct. I didn't say I would pick that number. I said that number would be decided, and going to be decided by those people, not by myself. I would be the one that would be announcing it and then facilitating.
Okay, so and that is still happening?
Well, I've just explained it again. I've just explained that that I will now be on. I'm on a call tomorrow morning, and if they want to continue facilitating, which I believe they will, I just wanted to stop the madness today. That's what I wanted to do, and get corrected on many things, including that. I was not buying shares. The company was not. Stephen Brown was not. My brother was not. My mother was not. Nobody was inside. These were people that approached me. And because HPIL is on the radar by some pretty ridiculous numbers.
Mr. Brown, Ishant again, and my last question for the day. Now, if the investors decide not to proceed with it,
then they don't.
Well, how would that affect the stock price? Because then a lot of people have been buying it under the guise that the buyback would happen, and therefore the stock price would eventually catch up because there's a lot of outstanding that people have to sell into or buy into. That could have a negative impact on the stock, and I understand it could potentially be just a short term. I just want to sort of point out, you may want to clarify that, because I hear a lot of chatter on Twitter as we speak.
Your statement's contradicting itself, because if that's the case, if you're saying that it affected the price, that doesn't make sense. That if somebody's going to buy it at that price, I mean, if you're in the stocks, is simply, well, maybe I'm not explaining it right. If they came in at a certain price, then that affected, you're saying that announcement affected the stock. So you're saying that some people just bought simply because of that potential buyback. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct, sir.
So what's your point? So if they didn't buy, you're saying, so if they don't buy shares, then you're saying the price will go down.
That is correct.
Okay. I don't agree with that. I mean, I'm not sure what else I can say.
Yeah, if the buyback doesn't happen,
sorry?
You don't think, if the buyback doesn't happen, you don't agree that the company's stock price will drop significantly?
Well, you're asking me a question. How can I don't agree with that, because I believe the company's worth a hell of a lot more than what that quarter of a penny or half a penny or 1 penny or whatever the number is. But that's your decision to make, not mine. I don't agree with that.
Well,
that's why I come to work every morning, because I don't believe in that. This is not a penny stock.
Just wondering, what could you tell us today to get us excited to buy more shares?
I'm not going to do that to make you buy more shares. I can tell you, as I've said 1,000 times, the company has extreme potential. And for anybody to think that I should be building General Motors within 4.5 months, let alone the other stuff going on, then you shouldn't be buying this stock. But I don't tell anybody, I'm not a prognosticator. I don't pump and dump. I don't tell people to buy shares. I don't tell people to sell shares. I do what I do. I build the company. I happen to be approached by some people that wanted to buy shares private and offer it, not through the company, and that's what I did.
I have a question. I just wanted to know, what's maybe the next thing that we can look forward to? Something to look forward to.
Well, you'll look forward to the partnerships within Apogee. Some phenomenal partnerships.
I really do. I think that that's going to be amazing. And I just wanted to say, even with the OS the way it is, with what you have going for this company, it's not going to stop us from rocketing. We're going to be fine.
It's absolutely not. And I was, you know what I was considering today, and I decided not to, because it's not what I told you guys from the beginning. I could put out a shareholders meeting on a reverse. And we could all reverse it 10 to 1, 20 to 1, and make it 15, 20, 40, 50, whatever the number would be.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to do that.
Not with what this company has going for it. Not even close.
That this company, in its time, and I don't think it's that far out, can substantiate the numbers that we have right now. If we were some little company, and like most of these OTC companies, then you got to reverse it. If you're all about stock play, which
I've done my research on market caps for EV stocks, and
we don't fit into that category.
What we could be. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I appreciate that.
All right, guys, as usual, I'm way over again. So 9 more minutes, 3 o'clock. It's like a usual.
I have a question.
I'll just speak to something really quickly. It's not so much of a question, but I'll just say as a parent, I can address maybe this concern that some people have been putting out about this company being a scam. I don't believe that it's a scam because first of all, as you being a parent, if this was a scam, you would not have involved your son. So I want to say that I don't believe this is a scam at all. And you being a father, if this was, you would not include your son in this, in the business if that was the case, to tarnish his name and yours. So I definitely believe in what you're doing, and I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, first and foremost, thank you. But let's say this. My door is open. You can come and meet my staff. You can sit down with them, the program department, the graphic design department, the senior vice president, the vice president, anytime you want. We're open. And as I said, we're taking another 3,000 square feet. That's how much we feel about this company. We have a great staff. We have a great team of people, and we're legit. Can I guarantee you success? Absolutely not. Are we doing the best? Are we aligning ourselves? Absolutely. I just happen to choose this. I'm going to be joking a little bit, but it's true. I just happen to choose a shitty little dirty pink company to put this in when I could have put it into many companies. And I didn't. And I didn't expect the things that came and hit me up the side of the head like the convertible notes. But I'm weathering that storm, and they won't knock me down, and I will weather that storm, and we're that close. And in regards to my family comes first. You won't get me to shift on that no matter what you say or post. And I didn't mean that to the
What did you just say about the convertible notes?
I didn't say anything about convertible notes.
I have a question. Would you consider selling non-voting preferred shares in the future for us to redeem our commons?
I have no idea. You keep pushing. You don't push me off the track. All I care about is building the company with great assets. And the only way I do that is surround myself with great people. I've done that all my life. I've done that in my other successful businesses, which some of them will read about me, and that's it.
So next week, so tomorrow morning, you're going to be sitting down with some very important people or some regular shareholders, you say. That'll be
somebody's opening up a trash can or I'm not sure. But
Mr. Brown, can you mute everybody once again, please?
Yeah, I can.
Did you hear me now?
All right, there you go. Hello?
All right, could you hear me now?
I can, yes.
All right, hey, peace to you, brother. Peace to you, traveling man. This is what I was asking here. I was asking if it's possible that you will be alerting the company tomorrow about the people that's willing to do the buyback with you. Would you be letting us know, keeping us, making us aware of what's going on since you vocalized today about these?
It won't be tomorrow. That's too short notice, but it will be in the next 2 to 3 days. Yes, along with some other announcements.
Yeah, that's very important. So I think that's what the guy was saying. Hey, make us excited, man. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm not here to make you excited.
Yeah,
no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
This isn't an auction, Richard. This isn't an auction. It's not a toy we're buying here.
Hey, listen, I didn't say that. I said that since you're in the chat. I said since you're in the chat and you know what's going on. It should be some type of positive energy to correct sentiment.
Listen. But the reason for this conference call that I called in 1 day's notice, and by the way, at one point we had 800 people on, so somebody's paying attention. It was because I was being bombarded with phone calls, and many of those phone calls were taken and misrepresented and turned and twisted as usual, not as usual, but turned and twisted. And I had to call on it. That's all. So I added, I brought up some other stuff, but here I am again, the 1 hour phone call. Yeah, that's